Welcome everybody to the Rob and Ace and Rob show. Most must listen to show on the internet right now. I want to start off today's episode with saying that it's going to be controversial. You're probably not going to agree, especially ladies. I know they're definitely not going to agree because the topic we're tackling is cheating in a relationship. Is it successful? Is it acceptable? Can it be acceptable? So I'm going to start off with, I don't even like the term cheating when it comes to men. And yes, ladies, this is a double standard. Double standards do exist. That's just life. There's really nothing you can do about it. For example, there's a famous hip hop couple right now, Quavo and Sweetie, who I've never heard any of their music for either of them. I guess I'm too old.
It's bad.
It's bad music. I don't know. I know the Migos. I've never listened to anything they've done. I don't even know who this Sweetie girl is, but they had an altercation in an elevator. Everybody's condemning Quavo because why? He's the guy. That's the double standard. As soon as you hear a woman and a man fought, you immediately go to the man is wrong. Video comes out, turns out she swings on him. He tries to grab his bag. She fights with him. He pushes her away. She falls down. Now it's sort of a mixed bag. People are still saying he's wrong. He didn't throw any punches. He didn't do anything super aggressive. He was basically just trying to get his bag. But again, it's a double standard. When it comes to physical altercations, majority of the public is going to side with women no matter what. That's just life. Men have learned to accept that. So I would like for people to accept this double standard. Men don't cheat. Do we have sex outside of our relationships? Yes, but it's not cheating. Cheating, if it was against our nature, if it was against nature in general, then I could understand the argument. But let me just break down science. I'm not going to put any feelings or emotion into this argument. I'm going to go with holy, biblical, Quran, Torah, whatever you believe in aspect, as well as scientific aspect. Let's start with the science. Rob, are there more women or men on this planet?
There are more women.
Ace. Okay. From last time I've done the research, it is about 2-to-1 women to men, right?
I don't know if it's that much of a deeper ratio, but it does change over time. But
well, in this country, it is.
It is significant.
In this country, it definitely is. It's 2-to-1. Now, if there is naturally more women than there is men, this is not anyone manipulating society. This is not anyone making sure this happens. This is just naturally how it occurs. Doesn't it make sense that there's a plan to that? Like, why would something just randomly occur in nature? I can understand, random acts happen in your life, but in nature, for the beginning of time, if there's always been more women than men, there might be a reason for that. One of the reasons is, as a man, I can have sex with 9 different women, make 9 different babies, all at the same time, which in turn keeps our species going. That's how mammals operate. There is not one mammal on this planet that you can name that doesn't operate that way. Go to lions, tigers, bears, even down to rodents. There is no mammal, which we are, that operates in a one-on-one monogamous situation. There are other species that do that, but not mammals. If a woman has sex with 9 different men, how many times can she get pregnant?
Only once per year.
Exactly. That's how procreation happens. That's how our species, number 1, became dominant, and 2, continues to be dominant. You know why there's not that many pandas? Because they ain't fucking. It's just math. It's just science. If men stop having sex,
they're also fat.
Well, I mean, fat for a bear, really? Maybe Yogi might think they're fat, but not other bears are probably like that's they like that thickness, the THICC. But my point is this: if we went with societal norms and we said, you know what, from starting now until the end of time, we are only going to have one man mate with one woman for life, our species would be done in 150 years.
I would have said less.
I'm being optimistic because there's
Yeah, you're being
science involved now. There's
Yeah.
science involved now. Test tube babies.
Because the
But-
other thing is you have to and what's interesting to me is I thought I was the one who was going to start bringing in science into the equation. You came
know
out
I'm Mr.
straight out of the
Logic.
gate. Yeah.
Yeah, you know I'm Mr. Logic. I don't have a point of thinking that doesn't have a thought process behind it. I'm not just irrational with my thoughts. The reason I think what I think is because there's a reason behind it. There's logic to it. You can understand it. Anybody can understand 2 + 2 is 4. Just like
Right.
anybody can understand if you remove your emotions, what I'm saying right now. Now,
Right.
you're probably going to go into my next point, but let me go into this. Out of that 1-to-1 ratio, how many of those men are gay? Because in America, it's 15% of the population. 15% of men in America are gay. That's from the census.
Right.
So let's correlate that worldwide. So that means there's 15% less males procreating.
Right.
How many of those men have diseases that don't allow them to procreate? How many of those men are in jail? How many of those men just for some reason are with a woman who can't procreate?
This is such an extremely good point because I was going to eventually touch on this. Most men don't actually procreate, and society is totally unaware of this.
Yeah.
Most men do not procreate.
There are so many things that are scientifically proven by census data, by surveys, by all these different scientific methods that most people don't know about. Most people don't know that 1 in 4 Black women will get married in their lifetime, meaning 75% of all Black women will never get married.
At least in the United States.
In the United States. Again, I'm only talking about where we are. I can't talk about
most of
Africa,
what we
England,
say-
France. I
most
can
of
only
what we
speak
say
about
is
my,
applied.
like, I'm not going to be Mr. Jackson, like we talk about, and give you bullshit experiences. That's just not me.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about what I lived in, what I know. I haven't been to Bolivia. I don't know how it is down there. I'm sure it's beautiful, but I don't know how the women correlate with the men because it's
Excellent
completely different. I'm pretty sure they shift that way.
I'm going by Wu-Tang's lyrics. That's all I'm saying.
But my point is they have a completely different set of societal structures than we do. Monogamy may not be the big thing there. I don't know. But my point is monogamy is pushed here heavily. And let's say, again, we're going with this hypothetical situation where every man only procreates with one woman for the rest of their life. They're completely faithful. They never cheat. They meet the love of their life and they settle down and start a family, get married, have a baby, the regular stuff that we were told to do. Our species would not survive. Men have in our DNA the drive to have sex with more women. Why? Because that's how we survive as a species. It's built into us. It's not a pleasant fact, but it is a fact.
So more science.
Okay, go.
The average man has about 10 times more testosterone coursing through.
I was just about to go there. You beat me to
any
it.
given
But you hit it.
At any given time than the average woman. The male.
What does testosterone do, though, by the way?
It-
I know, but I want you to spell it out for the people
It
listening.
basically is, it drives the male libido.
Oh, okay. So it makes us super horny all the time.
Right.
Okay.
Especially when compared to women. Now, that doesn't mean that women don't get aroused. It doesn't mean they don't get horny. It doesn't mean
and
they're
ladies,
hornier than us at times.
Yeah, ladies, we're not talking like there's not, women out there who are nymphomaniacs, who are super sex drug. Yes, there is occurrences. There's always the exception to the rule, but we're talking about the rule. Exceptions are going to happen in every scenario. Just like I'm sure out of all men, there's 3 guys that say, you know what, I'm happy not having sex with anyone but my wife. We do it. We choose to do it. I myself do it. I don't cheat. I make the decision to not go outside of my relationship because I don't want to deal with the drama. but I'm also understanding two things. One, it's a choice, and two, it's not something that I personally want to deal with.
What it is that yes, it's true. It's a sacrifice, and women don't see.
Thank you. That's an even better way to say it. They don't understand. Women think they are as sexually driven as men. I have a female friend that I talk to that she asked me about relationship advice because she's younger, and she's like, "Oh, there's no way you're as sexual as I am," and she believes it. She doesn't understand. As many times as she thinks about sex, I've probably already jacked off that many times that day.
There's a meme about this, a Twitter meme, and it's a conversation, and the girl's like, oh, women are just as sexual and horny as men, and he goes, okay, do you want to have sex? And she said, no, I'm not attracted to you. And he said, yeah, I'm not attracted to you either.
Yeah, that's a point I'm going to make later. That when we start getting deep into this, I'm only superficial with how I view this whole situation right now. But going back to this woman who believes for some reason that she's as sexually driven as me or as an average man, you women don't understand the depths of how sexually driven we are. And I can give an example. It's a famous joke by Tom Segura. I'm not even going to give the whole details, but the gist of it is this. We invented glory holes. We invented cutting a hole in a wall and sticking your dick in and hoping for the best. That's how horny we are.
It's not an endorsement.
I'm not telling you to do it. Trust me. I'm not endorsing. I'm saying that's how sexually driven we are as men. Some of us are willing to take that risk. There could be an axe murder on the other side of that wall. There could be a goddamn bear trap. There could be so many things on that side of the wall, but he's hoping for the best. Maybe there's a mouth. Maybe there's a vagina. Maybe there's an ass. He doesn't know. And the thing is, I'm not even going to say it's a gay thing, because there's straight guys who have done that. They have rationalized in their head, well, I don't know what's a man, so I'm just going to go with it's a woman. That's how sexually driven men are. There is no woman on this planet that would ever think, oh, a glory hole. Well, let me just open my mouth and hope for the best. It doesn't happen. You guys don't. You guys don't invent sexual things. We do.
Right.
Why? Because it's all. How did Viagra get invented?
I actually know.
You know the story?
It was meant for blood pressure.
It was a blood pressure heart medicine that was created. I believe Donald Rumsfeld's company did it, and it was used for that. And they also said, hold on, side effect, my dick is getting big. I don't think we care about our heart anymore.
The guy's like, oh man, I got to monitor my heart rate.
He's like, I don't care about my heart anymore.
Hold on a second. Noise.
Yeah, basically that's what happened. He completely said, forget the heart. This is what we're marketing this for. Because he thought in his head, this is smart business. Maybe there's 40% of men who have heart problems on the big side. That's being generous. But there's 100% of guys who want their dick hard. Let's focus to them. There's not a man on this planet who has a sexual problem who doesn't think, wait, I wish I could take a pill to fix it. That's how sexually driven we as men are. We're so sexually driven. The society you live in right now is because of that. Yeah. The reason we have nice places to live is because you need a nice place to have sex with us. We know you won't have sex with us in the back of a bar most times. Because if we did, we wouldn't care about how we lived. We lived in caves forever. We lived in trees and in jungles. All this progressed because as society went on, women demanded more. So we had to keep up.
Which is fine. Which actually, let's go into the science a little bit more. This is actually going to be a way more scientific episode than I was anticipating.
Oh, no, it's not. It's about to get raw in a minute. Because the science part was what I'm starting off with.
It's about to get unwrapped.
Yeah, it's about to get real in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So but I want to set the basis first.
I'll finish the science portion of our lesson today, boys and girls. The reason for everything he is saying is because men and women specifically have different mating strategies that will create better children for each coming next generation. Therefore, throughout history, women have always procreated with either the strongest or the most successful that they can get. And that
can I diverge on that one point?
Yeah.
In history, has the strongest or the most successful only ever had one woman?
Never, not once, ever.
Never. Old kings had concubines.
Right.
The strongest man in the group mated with every woman he wanted to, whether it was yours or not.
3% of the Earth's population has like Genghis Khan DNA, which is an insane statistic.
He was riding around getting it in.
Right.
You know what 3% of the world doesn't have? Cleopatra's DNA.
Exactly.
She had a gigantic kingdom, but she wasn't getting it in like that because men want to. If we could, we would.
Right. Men are designed to, for lack of a better word, conquer. And that is essentially how each generation gets better. Now, whether that status is brought by intelligence, because there are women who want more intelligent children, or sheerly just strength and athleticism, whatever each individual woman defines as their best option, that's the baby she wants.
Well, and that has progressed to our society, to bring it to current times, to financial
and captains of industry, because the industrial revolution changed that too.
The people
now what you're seeing is tech nerds are getting it in now.
Women want security and to be provided for. The people who can do that best now are not the strongest.
Which, for the listening audience, by the way, they are not bad for that. Get over it.
No, and that's again, we have our DNA, they have theirs. It's not a right or wrong situation. It is what it is. You can disagree, you can be upset, you can say, well, that's not what I want. Okay, let's take a poll and let's see if you're the outlier or if you're the main. Because we're talking about the main. And if you poll 100 women, they're all going to say, usually the ones that want to get married don't want to work after having children. They want to stay home and raise their kids because that's in your DNA. You're protectors, you're nurturers. That's what women are emotionally driven, because that's what you need for those two roles.
Not only
we are not, because we need to conquer. You can't. Genghis Khan couldn't be emotional about ransacking a village.
Right. We're designed to scatter. They're designed to incubate. If you ask 100 women if there's a height requirement, 90 of them are going to say 5'9", 5'10", and above.
Yes.
And
that's not saying short guys don't get some.
A good 85 of them are going to say 6 feet and up.
Yeah.
What they won't understand is that only encompasses less than like 10% of the population.
Yeah. Every time you put a boundary on something, you're whittling away prospects. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with liking what you want, but you also have to be realistic with it. And that goes back into the topic at hand of cheating. Ladies.
Excellent circle.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. This is where we start to get deep into it. All the science has been laid out. You can look up anything we said. You can look at your dog or your cat, or you can go to the National Geographic Nature Channel and see everything we're talking about. There is no dog married to another dog. There is no male and female dog who only procreate with each other for the rest of their lives. It doesn't happen. There's no cats, there's no gorillas, there's no lions, there's no any mammal on this planet where it happens. We're no exception. We choose to be because we have rational thought. Now, we're
the only being also sophisticated enough to make that choice.
Exactly. Pandas are doing it because it's nature has driven them to do that. Nature has driven them through captivity, through deforestation, through a lot of different factors to not have that sexual drive, which is why they're dying out.
And that's the animal kingdom. Some species die out. That's it.
Yeah, we don't have that. We don't have that vice. We don't have that problem. So let's talk about right now. Why is cheating taboo to women? Well, cheating is taboo to women because it's a possessive thing. They only want you to be with them, and they only want you to share with them. And you have every right to feel that way. But is it one, healthy, and is it too realistic? Like, think about it like this. If you take, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Everybody knows who Siegfried and Roy is. And if you don't, look it up and actually open a book every once in a while, because you should know who that is. Siegfried and Roy, famous Las Vegas entertainers, they would keep tigers in captivity. And they would make them do tricks, and they were making millions and millions of dollars every night in Las Vegas doing like 2 or 3 shows a night. Fantastic. But what everybody was waiting for was what we all knew was going to happen. One of them tigers was going to snap and turn back into a tiger and murder them. And guess what happened? One of those tigers snapped and bit one of their heads straight almost off. Because you can't change the nature of a beast. You can't change the nature of an animal.
Not without eventually killing it.
Not without one of 2 things: that animal losing the will to live, or that animal dying by your hands.
Or the third option, that animal fighting back.
That's not even the option, because that's the outcome most of the time. Most of the time when you have a wild animal in captivity, it's going to turn on you. Tiger King was one of the most famous documentaries during the pandemic. How many attacks happened? Multiple. Because they're not meant to be there. You can't domesticate a tiger. Just like you can't domesticate a man. We choose to do that. You can't force us to just want to be with only you. Because unfortunately, ladies, and this is going to be a tough pill to swallow, this is more Buckley's for you. You can't satisfy us. I'm sorry to say it. I know it hurts. I'll give you a few seconds to recuperate, because you're probably looking at your man saying,
sponsored by Buckley's.
We should, if they even exist anymore. But I know you're looking at your man like, no, I know I satisfy him. I suck his dick every Wednesday. I get it, ladies. There are women who do backflips to make sure that their man is sexually satisfied. I get everything you're saying. He wants to fuck other women.
Or as Coach Greg Adams might say, monkey double backflips.
Yes. And you know why I say he wants to fuck other women? If you're honest, ask your man a question. Do you still masturbate? If he's honest, he will say yes. Why? Because we want to have sex all the time and you're not around all the time. That's how you know you're not 100% satisfying him. And you know what? You might still be masturbating too, because he might not be around when you get the urge. Why is masturbation acceptable, but having sex with another woman not acceptable? Why do you think, Rob? I know the answer, but I want to see what you think.
Well, the issue about this is really, it's the fact that men and women have 2 different mating strategies, and neither of them are wrong. It's just it's a survive. Women are designed to survive. That's what it is. So if a man is going to sleep around, the risk is there that he's going to like another girl more than you.
You hit it on the head.
Then he leaves.
You hit it on the head.
Now you have to start over and find another man to protect and provide for you.
You hit it on the head.
It's an existential.
It's not even existential. It's emotional. Most women equate sex with emotion, with love, with desire. Most men don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Because when we have sex, it could be the sock in the corner or a woman. We don't have any differentiation between the two. If we like you, that's when you get elevated past the sock level. If we're in a relationship with you, you're better than a sock. But every other woman, I could do it to her. I could do it in my hand. Same feeling. we understand there's no more heightened emotion between me masturbating and me having sex with a random woman. We don't better deal you. And when I say better deal, this is going to bring me to why I say that men don't cheat, but women do. When women cheat, there's always a vindictive nature behind it. And when I say always, yes, I know there's a bunch of women out there who just like having sex and they're promiscuous and not loyal. We're not talking about them. We're talking about good women.
But they weren't. They didn't start that way.
Yeah, like you can't. And they probably did. Some people are just broken. Like some people are just growing up going to be an axe murderer. That's just who they are. You can't fix it. Some people are just broken by nature. Nothing comes out perfect 100%
just playing dicks.
Yes, that's what these women do. They are hoes by nature. Excuse my language. That's the best term for them. We're not talking about them. Like, we're not trying to teach the negative part of society how not to be negative. Let them do them. They're going to die out. I'm only concerned about the good women, the ones who are fit for marriage, the ones who want to be married, the ones who want to be loyal to their husband. You got to understand, it's field research. I've talked to way too many people in my life. When a woman cheats, it's generally for one of three things. She found out her man is cheating on her. She thinks her man is cheating on her, or there's a better guy, a better prospect. Those are all vindictive reasons. Those all have something to do with the man in your life. He is not sufficient in some way, so you're seeking sufficiency elsewhere. We don't even think about you when we're having sex with other women. When we quote unquote cheat, you're not even on our mind. The only thing that's on your mind, unless you have an arrangement, is I hope she don't catch me. Other than that, you are a distant memory when we're doing what we're doing. Just like you're a distant memory when we're masturbating X videos. You're not a part of the process. Rob, have you ever had a woman ask you what I think may be top 5 dumbest questions of all time? This is the question. Hey, do you think about me when you masturbate?
Never had any.
I've had like every woman I've been with, like in a relationship, ask me that question. I look at them like they're slow.
And it's the dumbest question.
Like, no, I could think of anyone. Why would I think of you? I have you. Like, if I had a dream job, you think I'm going to think about the job I'm doing just to make ends meet? No, I'm thinking about the dream. I could go to magical faraway lands and have sex with Halle Berry, Janet Jackson, Rihanna, Beyonce, all at the same time. Why would I dream about you? I have you, your reality. That goes into the next thing that, ladies, you got to understand. This is, I'm sorry to say this, and I know that it doesn't apply to you guys, and unfortunately it's a double standard, but there's a famous line in the male community. I know every man has heard it. There's nothing better than pussy than new pussy. It's a fact. And the only thing better than new pussy is two pussies. I'm sorry, it's crass, but it's true. There is nothing you are doing wrong. This is not against women, but sexually speaking, you cannot satisfy us forever with your one vagina, because I've felt your one vagina. I want to feel hers and that other girls, and that, like, because that's a new experience. We were talking the other day and I gave this analogy. Rob, you play the female in this situation. I'm going to ask you questions and logically work with me. Do you have a favorite food?
Yes.
Okay. What is that favorite food?
Chicken parm.
Chicken parm. You love chicken parm. You can eat chicken parm 5 days in a row and be satisfied with it, right?
No.
Wait, no.
Oh, wait. I'm not. Am I a guy or?
No, be the female. Be the female. You know, use the emotional response. Be real. Like, there's certain meals you could have every single day for like a week and be perfectly happy with it. Or say 3 days in a row. You'd be okay with 3 days of chicken parm.
Oh, wait. So if I'm the girl, my reaction is going to be, but I'm not food. I'm a person.
Ma'am, we're not, let's just go with the thought experiment. This is just science. This is not emotional. This is just science. And guys, when you're having this conversation with your significant others, if you do, please start off that preface because they're going to go emotional. You have to bring it back to science, to logic. We are not trying to degrade them. We are not telling them they're not worth it. That is not what this podcast is about. That is not what any of our episodes ever will be about. You women are doing nothing wrong in this regards because you're not even a factor in it. Your vagina is perfectly acceptable if your man chooses to accept it as the main one he's with. But going back to the food analogy, eventually you get tired of chicken parm. Like with me, I love fried chicken. I don't care how stereotypical it is.
So racist.
I don't care. I love it. I don't care if it's from Popeyes. I don't care if it's from Country Chicken. I don't care if I'm going down south and it's from one of those good old restaurants.
Bojangles.
Bojangles. It is all delicious. And I could eat it all day, every day. But eventually I'm going to want spaghetti or steak or a hamburger or all the other different meals. Why do we have variety in our foods? Because you don't want to get tired of the same thing over and over again. We can understand that logic when it comes to food, but we can't understand the logic when it comes to vagina. That's the issue. And that's how men think. I love your vagina. It is fantastic. There's a reason why we are together and in a relationship, because I chose your vagina as the one I want to have almost all the time. But that doesn't mean I don't want to have a different one. That don't mean I don't want to have spaghetti vagina or taco vagina or hamburger vagina. I want to, variety just makes things better.
Making it so weird.
Sorry, but it's the easiest way. Analogies make dumb people understand smart concepts. I'm not calling you women dumb, but that's a saying. There's a reason why in sales, you always use analogies to get your point across because it's very easy to understand things that you can relate to other things.
Right.
Ladies, this is how we're built. We want to do that. You telling us not to only causes problems. Do you think you telling us not to tells us it means we're not going to cheat? Like the government tells people not to murder. Does murder still happen? Yes, there's a harsh penalty for murder. We're going to lock you in a room for the rest of your life and you can't leave. That's the penalty for murder, and people still do it. Just because you tell me not to do something that I want to do naturally doesn't mean I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to try to get away with it. And that's the problem with the whole cheating thing is then you're starting to bring in drama. You're starting to bring in problems. And that's how relationships end. 80% of relationships end because of the woman ends it.
Yeah, that's statistically true.
That is just statistically fact. If you go to divorce rates, you can look it up yourself. Women file for divorce at a rate of 8 to 2 out of 10. I myself was one of the 2. I did not, one of the 8. I did not file for divorce. My ex-wife did. We were both ready to go. She's the one who cut the cord and filed for divorce. Because this is what happens. This wasn't a cheating situation, but women will leave on the hopes that they get better, on the hope that I'm going to meet another guy and he's going to be Mr. Knight in shining armor. Does that ever really happen? Sometimes, but most of the time it's, to quote Kevin Samuels, you buy a dog and die alone. You have a kid and that kid becomes your husband. You have those little son husbands where the woman, the mother is so devoted to the little boy that she don't even think about her old relationship. And by the time she starts thinking about it, she's too old to get back into the dating pool. Or she gets into the dating pool and realizes ain't shit out here. I had a good man and now he ain't there no more. All because you can't get by one of the main things that ends relationships. There's 2 main factors to most relationships ending: money and fidelity. We're not talking about money. We talking about fidelity right now. Because if we can solve fidelity, we can eventually solve money. Now,
that'll be
Rob,
for another episode.
Of course, Rob, you had a different view as far as cheating is concerned.
Yeah, similar but different. I do think there are men out there who will have no problem with monogamy. Even men of high value who have options, who if they want to, they can sleep around. But and this is because I work in an industry where I meet a lot of people in person, and I get to go into a lot of detail. And it's a very male-dominated industry in terms of clientele. So I meet a lot of different types of guys. So I meet tons of guys with options and tons of guys who don't have options, who maybe decided to get into this because they wanted more options. The guys I meet who have options, who stay faithful, every single one of them had a high body count before they settled down. Mm-hmm. So there are those guys out there. I'll even give you this. I'm going to say the dynamic of a successful monogamous relationship or marriage that I've sort of seen is the guy's usually 5 to 7 years older than the wife. He's been through it, and he got her before she got through it. It doesn't work when the wife has like a really bad hoe past. And the guy, he's gotten it out of his system. He's in his mid to late 30s. He's successful. He's keeping himself in shape so that in the event that it does go wrong, he can go right back out there and pick up another option again, you know? But that part of his life where he's got to, you know, just get these bodies up, he gets tired. You'll even hear one of the guys I listen to, Donovan Sharp. He's been around the block and he's settled down. And in his words, he's just like, man, I'm tired of it. I've got the leg count, and I don't have the energy to try and pull female after female after female. He also doesn't want kids, whereas a lot of the guys I meet, they are ready for that step of starting a family, not messing around. And I think a guy with goals like that, primarily family focused, who wants to have that legacy, is going to think about those consequences of sleeping around on his wife and say, not worth it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, people don't like women don't understand how much guys don't want to lose their families and livelihoods and kids. And they really think going into relationships that men are just such slime because cheating happens.
But you're hitting it on the head with what, like, you're basically 90% in agreement with what I'm saying.
Yeah.
These men are being faithful because they choose to. It's they still want to have sex with other women, but they've justified not doing that by the consequences from society, by losing their family. Something is making them say, you know what, it's not worth it.
But I'm adding the fact that experience has burned some of that need out.
Yes.
Because they also, like I said, the age I brought up was 35 and up. The testosterone count in all men, unless they go on testosterone replacement therapy, which is becoming more and more common because it is a healthy sort of procedure if your insurance pays for it. Testosterone drops after 30 by 1 to 2% every year for the rest of a man's life. And that will make that libido start to finally calm down, fall a little bit. So society did everything all wrong the last 100 or so years in the way they told people to go on about their lives.
And that's my point. Like, wouldn't it, even for those guys who choose to be faithful, because there's another story I'll talk about in a few minutes. But even for those guys that choose to be faithful, wouldn't it be healthier if they just had an honest conversation with their women and say, look, I want to have sex with other women. I'm choosing not to. And wouldn't it be even more healthy for the woman to say, you know what? I appreciate what you're saying. You've broken it down that this is just pure sex. It's not emotion involved. You're not trying to leave me. You're not trying to get a better deal. You're not trying to upgrade your life with going with a different woman. This is basically just masturbating, but another woman's present. As long as you don't bring any diseases home, as long as you don't bring any outside kids, as long as you're safe and I don't have to know about it, do what you got to do. That would alleviate all the stress of that whole interaction.
It's more common than you actually think, too.
It is. I know people who have open relationships. Oh, we've talked about this before. There's never in the history of ever has there been an open relationship that was unhappy. An honest open relationship, not one where the guy's saying it's open, but he really lying. I'm talking about a real, we've had this discussion. We both decided that it's an open relationship. You can have sex with who you want to. I can have sex with who I want to. We don't talk about it. We are safe. We use protection. No outside influences coming into the house. At the end of the day, we come home to each other. There are more Jewish Nazis than there are unhappy open couples.
Okay, and now here's where the show gets to be entertaining. We got 20 minutes left, and now we get to diverge a little bit because I have a bit of a, I see what you're talking about. There are people who are in open relationships who are happy, but
all of them. Anyone who's I've never met. No. I've met about 15 to 20 couples that are in open relationships. There's never been an unhappy one of them.
Bro, who do you party with? Anyway,
it's having conversations.
I've met very few people in open relationships.
I've done this for 20 years. I've been talking to people, counseling relationships like for free for almost ever.
Yeah,
and it's only recently that I decided to make money off of it.
We got to stop that. You guys need to start ponying up. But here's on the polyamory topic, on the open relationship topic. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying this is what I would do, because I would not get into an open relationship. But the only way, in my opinion, that polyamory works, and I'll go back to science on this, the only way I think it works is Mormon style. The man can have, main and then however many other, I think there should be a limit to it, because
you're talking about sister wives.
Right, maybe a sister wife situation. I do not believe a woman can be a good partner with more than one man. I think the second you introduce another dick into her life, she is damaged beyond repair, and your relationship is doomed.
I disagree, because I don't know any Mormons. Every couple that I've met that has an open relationship is just regular people that have made that discussion. This is where it comes from. There are certain guys most guys are like you, where I don't want another dick entering my woman. Because ladies, we view you as property. It's just a fact. It's been,
this goes back to the mating strategy.
Most of history, that's what you were.
This goes back to the mating strategy. And we're going throughout history here. Every man's existential dread is having to raise the sire of another man.
I don't even care about that. Like
this has come from evolution. Another dick runs the risk of like my woman getting pregnant from some other man.
And that's where I think we differ, because most open relationships have that upfront agreement. Because I could be, just like she could get pregnant by another man, I could be having 4 or 5 kids from outside.
But if you have other kids, she doesn't have to pay for it.
Hold on. You don't have to pay for another, and if it's proven.
Oh, you don't have to, but she's going to lie. She's going to say it's yours. That is a distinct possibility,
but that's where it goes to again. We're not talking about those women. We're talking about the good ones. We're talking about the ones who are trustworthy and loyal. So there was a famous.
At the end of the day, I think she's got to look out for herself in terms of survival.
Hold on. I get what you're saying. I get everything you're saying. There was a famous old basketball player, Andrei Kirilenko from Russia, came over, played for the Jazz for a long time. I believe it was with the Jazz. Yeah, probably. And he did an article. I remember it was in one of those men's magazines. I can't remember which one, where they interviewed his wife. And his wife said, yeah, I give him a pass for 5 women a year. Like, I'm not dumb. He's on the road all the time. Like, I'm expecting it to happen. He just can't talk to me about it. But he can do up to 5 women a year, and I won't say anything. Even if I found out, as long as I didn't find out about more than 5, I mean, it is what it is. And I don't go looking. So it's hard for me to find out if I'm not looking for them. It was either like Playboy, or it was one of those, or something to do with sports. Maybe it was like a Smooth magazine, some nonsense like that. And they asked him, and he was like, yeah, I don't even really cheat on her. Like, I don't really feel a need. Like, I'm faithful to her. I love her more that she is honest enough to give me that, but I don't even exercise it. It's like the Hall Pass movie. Like, that movie is fiction. I want people to understand that is not how it would happen. Ladies, if you are not prepared to give your man a Hall Pass, don't give it to him. Don't play it. That game is not ready for amateurs. That is a professional game, the Hall Pass game. And if you don't know,
part of it was realistic because Christina Applegate immediately jumped on new dick.
Hold on, hold on. It's realistic for that, but both men in the movie didn't have sex with another woman. That's where it's unrealistic. There's no man when you say, you know what, for this month you can fuck as many women as you want. I don't want to know about it. I'm going to go to a hotel, knock yourself out. That man is going to be on the phone. If he has options, if he's a regular guy and he has options, which most men do, even if we're not multimillionaires, even if we're not, quote unquote, high value men making 6 figures every year, there are guys who make $40,000 a year who have multiple options. He's going to call one of them options and have it that night. So, ladies, the movie Hall Pass,
he's calling an escort.
No. There's broke dudes with game. There's broke dudes that are buff. Your marketplace value for men is not just money. Money is the main factor,
right?
But you can mitigate that with other stuff.
Of course.
Those are the guys
game trumps all. I think
you can be broke, but if you got game, you'll find a place to stay. Some lady's going to take you into a house. You could be broke, but you'll somehow find a way to get vagina. Some lady going to give it to you because you have that gift of gab. You can convince them to do it. It's like sales. The movie Hall Pass was about 2 wives thinking that they're getting terrible advice from one of their older female neighbors and saying you should give your husbands hall passes, meaning they get a block of time to have sex with as many women as they want to get it out of their system, and then they come back to you and be faithful. And in that movie, the main couple, the woman is about to have sex with somebody, doesn't do it. The husband is about to have sex with somebody, doesn't do it. In reality, that woman still might have sex with one, maybe 2 dudes. Probably. It's a possibility. Let's even go with two different guys in a month. Because most women are not frugal with their vaginas. They're not just giving it out to everybody. So let's say 1 or 2.
Also true. Yeah.
Most men are fucking maybe 20 women if they could. They going out. They're doing what they could. They opening the Rolodex. They going on Facebook, going into old contacts. They looking on Instagram. They opening up a Tinder account that day.
Now this is going to vary from age groups, by the way.
It ain't very. I'm talking about men who are still in the age of procreation.
Oh no, not for men. For men, it's not going to vary at all.
But yeah, I'm talking about from men 20 to 55.
I'm talking like a 22-year-old wife gives out a hall pass. She's getting dick that night.
Yeah, but that's my point. With the hall pass, it's a dangerous game. Women try to say, "Oh, I gave him a hall pass. That means I could do what I wanted to." You don't even understand. It's not going to be a tit for tat. It's going to be a tit for a machine gun. Like you are bringing a knife to a gunfight here. You are not going to do what we're going to do. I've had this conversation with the woman I'm with now. She's brought up the hall pass thing, and I tell her the same thing I've told her the 2 times we brought it up. When we had the movie on where something like that was happening, and we as adults have that discussion. I'm like, I love you too much to do that to you. Well, no, I could be doing my stuff too, and I'm like, baby, you don't understand. You would be disgusted if you knew what I'm about to do. You can't do what I'm about to do because you respect yourself. You respect your vagina. I don't respect my dick. My dick is going to go in every woman. I'm gonna be safe. I'm not gonna bring no kids and no STDs home. But if we come home and share report cards, you're gonna get an F. I'm gonna get an extra credit. The teacher gonna have to call me in the front of the class to do the grade curve because that's how many I'm gonna get. It's gotta be to a point where, and this is probably the last subject we're going to touch on because we don't have much time left. Women, we all know, I know, and I'm sure Rob knows, plenty of women who have ended their relationship for cheating.
Of course.
Does that work out though? Is that the smart move? Like, do you think that like, if that is your non-negotiable, by all means, stick to it. If you know that you are not emotionally equipped to handle your man being with another woman, even if he explains it to you, even if he proves it to you, even if he shows it to you that it means nothing to him more than him masturbating, and you're okay with the masturbating, but you're not okay with him being with another woman. If that's your non-negotiable, stick to it. But I'm here to give you an alternative. What if you have this good man and he's making a very good living, and he's taking care of you and y'all kids, and y'all are married and y'all built a life together? Why would you leave that just for one thing? Why would you give up 90% for 10%? There's famous examples we talked about last episode that I'm gonna bring up again. Kobe Bryant's wife. There was an issue. He got caught. There's no denying DNA. He got super caught cheating. There was no, maybe he did it, maybe he didn't. We got the sample. She was called dumb, stupid. Oh, she's a stupid bitch. She don't know. She don't value herself. This, that, and the third for staying with him. They went on to have another baby and had a beautiful life together. And he decided, whether it was truthful or not, to stop doing it. He became a better father for that. She chose an option to work and keep her family together because they built too much already. Why would I give away 90% for 10%? Why is she vilified, but the woman who leaves the man who cheated once is celebrated? Like Mary J. Blige, I remember when her marriage ended, people said, "Oh yeah, you don't take that from no man. He wasn't being faithful to you. Well, you get rid of him. He ain't that. Is she in a relationship now? Nope. Is she
not? I thought she was. Oh, well,
I don't know. I know she left her husband. I know she ain't married.
Listen, I mean,
that's all. That's what I judge it on marriage. In her life. I don't know. Yeah, I judge on marriage. Like, she obviously wanted to be married because she got married. Like, if you don't want to get married, you never get married. She obviously wants to be married because she did get married, and she ain't married now. Now, there could have been other stuff happening in the relationship. I don't know, but the whole story that came out was he was cheating on her, so she left. And now she's out there in the world, 50 plus years old, doing terrible acting gigs.
You're foul.
It's the facts. I watch Power. I've seen her act. It ain't good. I love Mary J. Blige, the singer. Mary J. Blige, the actor, can kick rocks.
Just classic.
That's what I'm saying. Mary J. Blige, the singer, I'll put rose petals on the ground for her. Mary J. Blige, the actor, fuck out my face. I ain't got time for you. Could you please move, Miss Blige? I want to find a real actress. That's all I'm saying. Look at your options. Don't just end a beautiful, loving relationship because of one thing. See if you can work past that one thing. That man, that might be his wake-up call. Like I said, like a Kobe Bryant. I know too many men who have had a situation like that where they were cheating on their wives and got caught and changed their whole lives around. Charlemagne the God is a prime example of it. He said, I've been sober since 2016. He knows the exact year he stopped cheating on his wife. And he said, because I stopped wanting to hurt her. It's not that he said, I don't want to do it anymore. He said, I don't want to hurt my wife anymore. So I don't cheat. This is a man who is super high value. He has every right to cheat. He has every right to step out. He makes millions. She makes zero, but she's the mother of his kids. She has a certain value in his life.
And
he don't want to mess.
Remember what I said before. Maybe he got it out of his system.
That's my. I don't even think he did. I'll be honest with you. I don't, because he's never once. He's talked about this situation multiple times. He's never said he doesn't want to have sex with other women. He said, I don't want to hurt my wife, which is a good thing. That's the logic. That's him denying his impulses, which we as intelligent creatures can do, and what he chooses to do. But in all actuality, if we ask the average chick from around the way, the average female who makes $50,000, $60,000 a year, if Charlemagne cheated on her, would she stay? She'd be like, hell yeah, I'm not leaving that millions. I'm not leaving all that money. I'll figure it out. Why? Because the money, the status overrides their morals. When it should be the opposite. Your morals should be your morals.
Right. But it is a very moralistic standpoint.
It is. It's emotional and moralistic. It's not logical. There's no reason to say, like, if I'm the outlier. If my girl came up to me and said, look, there's this dude who is 6'5", 250, built like a brick shit house worth millions. I just want to see what his dick feel like. It's going to hurt. But if she breaks it down to like, look, I'm not trying to leave you for him. This is not an emotional connection.
No, you're
this
right.
This is the same feeling as me putting the magic wand on.
Nope.
That's what I'm saying. You're saying no.
Nope.
I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, look, I'll be honest, I'm 41. This dude probably could blow her back out in ways that I can't. My hips don't work like that no more. My knees, I get cramps when I bend down sometimes. Do what you gotta do.
Right. And you're secure, like you have a kid and everything. Like it almost goes into what I was going to close out with was there's reasons to leave if that is
you got to have your non-negotiables, men and women. You both got to come into a relationship with, these are the things that I will not put up with, and stick by them.
And if infidelity is one of them, I understand it. There are reasons to not accept it, and there are reasons to accept it, depending on your own standing in life. If you are a woman who is really valuable, you're young, you have your whole life ahead of you, you know what you want, and you've got, like, if you're 22 and he's 25 and he cheats, you could probably go out and get someone better and not have to deal with that. But if you are
possibly, hold on, say possibly.
Yeah, you could possibly.
You don't know. We don't.
Very likely at that age.
You're rolling the dice. Even at that age, you're still rolling the dice, because there's a lot of angry 25 to 30-year-olds that ain't got no man and have no prospects.
Right. But if you are not in that realm, if he is far beyond what realm you are in, you know what I mean? And he's
value. He's sexual marketplace value. Yes.
Right. If his value is at another level compared to yours, and that's what you want, then you better stick with him, is what I'm saying.
Jeff Bezos left his wife. She didn't leave him. He gladly paid more money. He made her
the richest woman in the world.
He made her the richest woman in the world by not being with her.
She was nobody, and now she crushes over.
And he gladly did it to not be with her, because that was his value. He could afford to do that. He could give her billions, which is what he did, billions with an S, just for the thing of, you know what, I want to have sex with somebody else. Chris Rock, same situation. When you're at a certain value level, sexual marketplace, the marketplace in business dictates value. The sexual marketplace dictates your value too. You can't
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
You can't. That was who I was going to go to. You can't compete on a sexual marketplace level with The Rock. There's not a woman alive who could, because all you can bring to him is beauty and fertility. Those are the only two things you can bring him. He already has the stability, the physical stature, the confidence, the swagger, the general acceptance by the public, one of the most well-liked people in the world. You can't add to his life. he can multiply yours. And I know women out there saying, I know what I'm worth. I'm a queen. I get all that. You're entitled to feel how you feel, but facts are facts. I'm gonna close it with this. And this is a situation I know a friend of mine
wanted so bad
dearly.
to reference Derek Jackson again, but go ahead.
I don't want to talk about him because I feel bad for his wife. Like
you said Crown and I got set off. I was like,
I know, but I feel like I was looking. You go on YouTube and the phone listens to you. So if you say Derek Jackson, 4 videos pop up in YouTube all of a sudden, and they show pictures of his wife, and I just feel so bad because she don't like her dragging. No, I'm not gonna go to. Never mind.
Yeah,
it's just bad.
The bonnet.
But the last, like this is a friend of mine who we both know, who was in a long-term marriage, had a kid, and they would have knockdown, drag-out fights, and they eventually got divorced. And you feel bad for him because you don't know the whole situation, but you go by what he says, and like from what he tells me, he just didn't feel valued. She was always angry. It didn't work out. And I remember he said one of the last things he told her was, if you think Mr. Perfect is out there, go get him. Because there's nothing I can do to help you. That's being real. That's this man understanding his value and saying, you know what? If I'm not making you happy, go get somebody who is. You know what that man is dealing with right now? That man is in a happy, healthy relationship. From what he says, that woman's been single since they divorced, which is years. Because you think in your mid-30s that you still got time to find Mr. Perfect. You don't. And to be honest, a lot of times, Mr. Perfect ain't out there. Mr. Right, that whole Disney Prince Charming fairy tale bullshit, that's not real. It's a lot of bums. It's a lot of bums, and I'm not even saying bums like they're not good men. I'm saying they're bums compared to what you had.
Right. Yeah,
you can't go from filet mignon to hamburger helper.
I have one last thing because it goes into exactly what you were saying. Because when I'm giving out advice to a lot of I don't want to say younger, but I don't want to say older. I want to say like
mature. I don't even go with age. I say mature and immature.
Mid to late 20s, and they need to mature, but they're not there yet. And when they're dating, I tell them this. I said, you have all this stuff that you don't want to tolerate, but if Drake was expecting you to tolerate it, you're going to tolerate it. If Jason Momoa was expecting you to tolerate it, you're going to tolerate it. But the thing is, you're never going to freaking meet Drake. You're never going to date Jason Momoa. Okay? This guy is the closest you're going to get to it. He can meet another you.
I hate that we have to end because I could go off on this for 48 minutes more, but this is what I've had this conversation with so many women. Guys have all been in a situation where you're watching a movie or you're watching a show and your girl sees a sexy ass dude and she makes a sound. Most guys get upset at that. I laugh because that motherfucker don't want you. Like, I remember we were in the movies, me and my ex-wife, and it was some movie with Ryan Gosling in it. And he had his shirt off. And she let out a grunt like a motherfucking dude. Like it was bass in it. And in my head, I'm like, that motherfucker don't want you. I seen who he got with. You can feel like that all you want. You're coming home with me, and that's the best
Eva
you're gonna get. Right? Yeah, Eva Mendes, yes. And she quit acting for him. She became a housewife.
You got one of the baddest chicks on the planet.
To give up her life for him. You think he gonna say, you know what? I want this regular chick though. He'll fuck you. You ain't getting in his life. I'm not saying he's not going to slide you some dick. He might, but that's all you're going to get is a dick and a goodbye. You're going to get a Derek Jeter treatment. You're going to get a non-negotiable agreement, an NDA that you can't talk about this even happening.
Maybe
that's what's going to happen. So ladies, let's close on this. The point that we're trying to make here is don't blow up a happy situation. Don't blow up a situation where you are getting filet mignon on the hopes that you're going to get a better version of filet mignon. Because what's going to happen is you're going to end up eating hamburger helper. So thank you guys for listening. We'll be back next week with probably 2 more episodes. Next subject is a touchy one too, because we're going to start talking about women's sexual marketplace value, and they're not going to like that either. But hey, facts are facts. So I'm Ace. This is Rob. We're going to wish y'all good night. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Again, once we get the content to a certain level, we're going to open up the life coaching sessions and open up the, the chats with ladies live and fellas live. But for right now, just enjoy these discussions and have these discussions with your significant others and your friends. Don't just listen to this and end it. Build on these things.
Facts.
Good night, everybody.
Enjoy that Buckley's.